Hey guys, so you ready for it? I figure I'll do a video this way again, why not? So, I watch DVD players, or a DVD player, all day long while I'm working on stuff and old sitcoms and stuff. But I have the TV on, usually on Fox Business, not Fox News, because I like to hear about what's going on with the Fed and stocks and blah blah blah. Well, I just saw something interesting go across the screen. I did not unmute it, but who cares? Secretary Blinkin is going to, or is in Israel, and he's going to meet with Netanyahu, and he's actually going to ask for a ceasefire. Are you shitting me? We have Americans that are hostages right now that are all the hostages are probably dead, but that's not the point. American hostages are being held by Hamas, who could easily end this conflict themselves by giving up the hostages, and then it could be a different ball game how Israel decides to attack or take out Hamas in certain ways, right? What the fuck what is this administration thing? Here's the deal. He's catering, because he's trying to play both sides, and that's obvious. Why? I don't know. Because the population that believe that Israel's doing the wrong thing is kind of low. It's obviously like the Palestinian communities. You see college campuses, freaking out right now, but they're finding out a lot of those people on college campuses aren't even students, they're outsiders. But it's not huge swaths of the American people. Most people in America believe Israel's quote-unquote doing the right thing, basically defending itself. Now, whether they're going about it the right way or whatever is, I guess argumentable in certain circles. But beside the point, attacking Gaza, there aren't too many people that don't disagree with that have had happened. So why he's catering to a very small group, just like it's the whole transgender shit. Transgender should be in female sports, and they support that type of shit. And it's like, how small a portion transgenders are compared to the rest of the United States? And I didn't even know, and I can't think of a transgender I've ever met or seen as a friend, a friend's friend, whatever, in my entire life. So yeah, they aren't walking around very often. As far as kids being confused about their gender now because of the school systems is a whole other deal. But that's a whole other conversation. The point is, he's catering to these very minor groups for different shit. And for Blinken to fucking ask Netanyahu for a ceasefire when he's got over 150, I think is what hostages they have right now. Hostages of his citizens, of his people, and on top of it, like, the fact that what Hamas did, what they pulled in October, they didn't just send missiles over and blow people up and shit, or come in and shoot a bunch of people. I mean, they did some gruesome bullshit that is just sick, and they need to be eradicated. But the point is, what they did was heinous. What Netanyahu is doing is bombing and shooting these people. And anyone who believes the numbers that are coming out of Gaza are retarded. Hamas, it controls politically and media and everything else, just like how Putin runs the Russian media and stuff. They control that entire area, period, because they're literally like the governing body. They were the governing body. They took over and overthrew shit in 2007. Some of them were elected into whatever government it was in 2006, and they were literally thrown through the government out in 2007, and they've been there ever since. Whether they've had any quote-unquote elections, I don't know. But they've been running that whole area, so they have a reason to lie, obviously. And they're not trustworthy anyway. A group of people that do that type of shit to people and are literally a terrorist group anyway. Why anyone's believing numbers doesn't make sense. And by the way, if you haven't noticed, Google, I don't use Google, but I use Yahoo. Go into Yahoo's search engine and type in something like Gaza's building bombed by Israel, or Israel bombs Gaza. And then look at the images that are there. And you'll see like 99%, if not 100%, of the people that are in those photos, and you see them in videos and everything else, I'm just trying to give you an idea how to look it up now, are men. Whether they're teenage to adult, meaning, you know, I don't know, 40s, 50s, they are all men near the rubble. All of them. 99 to 100%. Why the fuck is that? If there are women and children involved in this stuff, where are you telling me all the women and children were in the building that got bombed? That's illogical and not even possibly true. So why is it that it's all men surrounding these buildings? There's a reason for that. It's crazy. Like, this whole situation's bullshit, and people freaking out about it, about a ceasefire and all these people dying and blah blah blah. Like, and the fact that Israel accidentally bombed some bullshit people, humanitarian people or something, I'm sorry, but that's just, you know, unintended consequences of war and, you know, collateral damage. You think we haven't done that? Fucking Obama bombed a children's hospital in Afghanistan, I think it was, or I don't think it was Iraq, during his administration with a drone. And that didn't stay in the news for very long, but he did that. I mean, that type of shit happens. Accidents happen during wartime. So it's like, please, and you're talking about like I think it was like 7 to 8 people or something that happened to. And it's, I mean, I get it. It's sad and it sucks. And obviously they didn't do it intentionally, but it's collateral damage of war. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. If you're in a war zone, you better just, you know, have your shit, you know, ready to go, basically wills and all, because you are in a war zone and your ass can die, and you should know that no matter what you're doing, why you're there. I mean, Benjamin, whatever the fuck his name is, on Fox News was in Ukraine reporting on stuff, and his what do you call it, van got shot up and blown up, and one of Fox News's cameramen that goes to war zones all the time for years and years died, and then some other chick that was with him, I think it was an interpreter or something, died, and Ben lived, and he like lost limbs and his eye and all kinds of shit, and he was a reporter. Shit happens, people. That's what happens in war zones. So, trying to claim that Israel is now violating human rights and shit because of that instance is absurd. Because we've done it too. Everybody's done it. Every country in the world who has ever been in a conflict has bombed, shot, or done something to someone they shouldn't have accidentally that was not part of the war. Period. Sorry. So now that Blinkin's going over there and actually asking for a ceasefire, like I said, with hostages there, with American hostages there, what the fuck kind of shit is that? That's absurd. I couldn't believe I saw that. And then the other wonderful thing that crossed the screen that I did unmute for because I happen to not have something in my hands, and who he was interviewing Governor Huckabee, prior Governor Huckabee, not the chick that's there now, Sarah. Oh my God. Biden wants to take in Palestinians as quote-unquote refugees. What? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And Huckabee said something more mild, which was these people, by the time they're 4 or 5, have been brainwashed into thinking all Jews are horrible and need to die. And they're going to come over here and obviously believe the same shit, regardless of whether they go into our school system or not, because they've been programmed that way. Yeah, that's true. But my bigger concern is what I've been saying this whole time, is that by the time you're 4 or 5, yeah, you may hate Jews, but you also know how to fucking make a bomb. You know how to shoot. You know how to defuse a bomb, maybe even. You know all kinds of war tactics and shit like that by the time you're 10, especially. And this motherfucker wants to take in refugees, Palestinian refugees, when the countries around them, Egypt, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, nobody, and they've spoken out about it, especially Egypt, wants Palestinian refugees because they are a problem and they know it. And they have proven it as well, because they caused some serious problems in, where was it? I think it was Egypt. It might have been Saudi Arabia. They caused some huge problems in the Middle East for other Middle Eastern countries when they decided to take in some Palestinians and shit. And they tried to, like, overthrow the government kind of situation and act it up. So these people are not friendly people. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. If you want to take in a bunch of Palestinian older women, be my guest. They're likely not going to pick up a firearm and shoot a bunch of people. They may be a little bitchy, but those people are basically, you know, that's Sharia law type of shit there. They probably wouldn't talk much or say anything to anybody and just go about their business. But any children, any male children or male of any age, even like a 60-year-old, taking that motherfucker into this country, what a goddamn problem. Jews would be targeted, obviously, but I got news for you. They don't like the West, and so they're going to start targeting everybody that's here that doesn't look like them. What a joke. I cannot believe I heard that. That was absolutely absurd. So, and by the way, how are you vetting these people? Oh, wait, you can't, because there's nothing to vet. Oh, by the way, how are you getting them here? Is it the stupid port that we are creating off of Gaza's shoreline, which is absurd, by the way, using our army? And are we going to put them on ships and then bring them to the United States? How are you planning on getting them here? Are you going to bring them into Israel and fly them out of an international type airport from Israel? Because Gaza doesn't have an airport. How are you going to get these people here? Or are you just going to say, well, if they show up at the border, we'll take them? I mean, what's the plan here? This whole situation is so absurd that anybody's even arguing about it. The numbers coming out of Gaza are incorrect. Israel has been so careful and methodical compared to any other country who has attacked any other country that I can think of, not only in my lifetime, but ever, okay? Trying to avoid killing citizens. They dropped pamphlets, for God's sakes, from the air, like thousands of them in certain areas, telling them to evacuate. They actually controlled their airways for a period of time, telling them where to go for safe zones. They post shit on X. They post it all over social media telling where safe zones are going. I mean, they even send out text messages that they have capable of doing to Palestinians saying, get the fuck out of this area. They have gone so far out of their way to get citizens out of the way than any other country in the world has ever. And by the way, that's almost terrible in a sense too, because you're evacuating those citizens, fine, great, wonderful, but you're also delaying your mission, okay? So, and they know you're going into that area. So then Hamas, or enemies of whatever, however you want to put it in any war, knows where you're going next and is going to be setting shit up. So Israel's been extremely, extremely humanitarian and methodical in the way they are taking out Gaza. They should have just leveled the fucking area and said, fuck you guys. But obviously that would have been a huge deal. But people should be looking at that aspect and being like, yeah, they're doing the right thing. There are casualties that happen. Collateral damage that happen. The numbers coming out of Gaza are not close to correct. There's no way they would be close to correct. Okay? You don't, it's like absurd to be against what Israel's doing. I'm sorry. Blinkin going for a ceasefire? Fuck you. Biden taking in Palestinians as refugees now? Fuck you. This whole situation's ridiculous. Anyway, this is Are You Ready For It? Take care, guys. Have a great day. Like my Funko?